I didn't know the quiet boy in the corner would change my life. I was just trying to survive my first day at Westbrook Academy, clutching my lesson plans like a lifeline. The private school gleamed with money I'd never seen. Marble floors, chandeliers in hallways, students wearing uniforms that cost more than my rent. I was Maya Bennett, 24 years old, fresh out of graduate school with a special education degree and student loans that kept me awake at night. My apartment had cockroaches. My car made a sound like dying animals. But I had this job, and I needed it desperately. The headmaster, Dr. Calloway, led me down a hallway that smelled of lemon polish and old money. "Your primary student is Luca," he said, his voice tight. "He's 7. Nonverbal autism. He's been through 6 teachers in 8 months." My stomach dropped. 6 teachers. His father is very particular. Dr. Calloway stopped outside a door. "Miss Bennett, I'll be direct. If you can't handle this, tell me now. Mr. Dante doesn't accept failure." I should have asked more questions. I should have wondered why a man's last name made the headmaster's hand shake. Instead, I pushed open the door and saw him. Luca sat by the window, building something with blocks. He didn't look up when I entered. His dark hair fell across his forehead, and his small hands moved with careful precision. He wore the school uniform perfectly, but his shoes were on the wrong feet. Something in my chest tightened. I'd seen that focus before, that beautiful intensity that meant the world had shrunk to just one thing. I knelt 3 feet away, far enough not to invade his space. "Hi, Luca. I'm Miss Maya." Nothing. His tower grew taller, red block on blue block on yellow block. I didn't touch him. I didn't demand eye contact. I just watched, noting the pattern he was creating. "That's a beautiful pattern," I said softly. "Red, blue, yellow. Red, blue, yellow." His hands paused for half a second. It was barely noticeable, but I caught it. My heart beat faster. I pulled out my own set of blocks from my bag and started building next to him, matching his pattern. We sat in silence for 40 minutes. The only sound was blocks clicking together. Then, so quietly I almost missed it, Luca whispered, "Green." I froze. "You want a green block?" His eyes met mine for exactly 2 seconds. They were gray, like storm clouds, and in them I saw something that made my breath catch: intelligence, fear, loneliness. Then he looked away, back to his blocks. "Green," he repeated, his voice barely audible. My hand shook as I handed him a green block. He placed it on top of his tower with deliberate care. The pattern changed. Red, blue, yellow, green. "That's beautiful, Luca," I whispered. For the rest of the day, he didn't speak again. But when his handler came to take him home, a massive man in a black suit, who looked like he could break me in half, Luca glanced back at me. Just once, that night, I researched his father. What I found made me drop my phone. Dante. Not just any Dante. The Dante family. Chicago's most powerful crime syndicate. Marco Dante, Luca's father, wasn't just rich. He was the king of an empire built on fear, money, and violence. Articles described him as ruthless, brilliant, and untouchable. There were photos of him leaving courthouses, always acquitted. Always immaculate in tailored suits. Always alone. No wife mentioned. No family except the son. I should have quit. Any sane person would have walked away. But when I closed my eyes, I saw Luca's face. I saw that moment when he'd said green and looked at me like I might understand. I'd gone into special education because I knew what it felt like to be different. I'd stuttered until I was 12. Kids mocked me. Teachers lost patience. I learned to be silent until I found my voice. Maybe I could help Luca find his. The next morning, I arrived early. Dr. Calloway intercepted me in the hallway, his face pale. "Mr. Dante wants to meet you." My stomach dropped. "When?" "Now." "He's waiting in my office." The walk felt like a death march. Teachers whispered as I passed. Everyone knew who Marco Dante was. Everyone knew what he was capable of. I pushed open the door, and there he stood. Photos didn't do him justice. Marco Dante was tall, maybe 6'3", with broad shoulders that filled out his charcoal suit perfectly. His hair was black, touched with gray at the temples. His face was all sharp angles and controlled power. But it was his eyes that stopped me cold. The same gray as Luca's, but harder, colder, eyes that had seen things I couldn't imagine. "Miss Bennett," his voice was deep, rough like gravel wrapped in silk. I forced myself to meet his gaze. "Mr. Dante, my son spoke to you yesterday. It wasn't a question." "Yes, sir." One word. Something flickered in his eyes. Not quite emotion, but close. He hasn't spoken to anyone in 4 months. Not since his last teacher left. He stepped closer, and I fought the urge to step back. He smelled of expensive cologne, and something else. Something dangerous. "What did you do differently?" "I didn't force him," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I met him where he was. Marco studied me like I was a problem he was trying to solve." His gaze traveled over my face, my discount store blouse, my worn shoes. I felt exposed, seen in a way that made my skin prickle. "The other teachers tried to make him normal," he said, his voice dropping lower. "They failed. If you try to change him, you'll fail too." Anger flashed through me before I could stop it. "I don't want to change him. I want to help him communicate." "There's a difference." The room went silent. Dr. Calloway made a strangled sound. Marco's eyes narrowed, and I realized I'd just talked back to Chicago's most dangerous man. Then, impossibly, his mouth curved into the smallest smile. "You have 3 months, Miss Bennett," Marco said. "If Luca continues to progress, you'll be compensated accordingly. If not ... double quotes, he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. "I understand," I whispered. "No, you don't," he buttoned his suit jacket. "But you will. My son is everything to me. Everything. The people who help him are protected. The people who hurt him ... double quotes." His eyes went flat, empty. "They disappear." He left without another word. I stood there, shaking, until Dr. Calloway touched my arm. "Maya, be careful. Marco Dante isn't a man who forgives mistakes." That afternoon, Luca and I sat with blocks again. This time, I introduced a picture board. Simple images: apple, water, bathroom, home. He studied each one with that intense focus. Then he pointed at one card. It showed to people hugging. "Family. Do you miss your mama?" I asked gently. His whole body went rigid. The blocks scattered as he swept his arm across the table. He ran to the corner, curling into a ball, hands over his ears. I'd triggered something, stepped on a wound I didn't know existed. "I'm sorry," I said softly, staying where I was. "I'm so sorry." Luca. After 20 minutes, his breathing slowed. I started humming, a lullaby my grandmother used to sing. Slowly, Luca's hands lowered from his ears. He didn't look at me, but he was listening. When his handler came, the man's face darkened, seeing Luca's tear-stained cheeks. "What happened?" "My mistake," I said quickly. "I pushed too hard." "It won't happen again." The handler, whose name I learned was Vincent, studied me with dark eyes. "Mr. Dante will hear about this." That night, I expected to be fired. Instead, my phone rang at 9. Unknown number. "Hello, Miss Bennett." Marco's voice sent chills down my spine. "I heard about today, Mr. Dante. I'm so sorry." "I didn't mean Luca's mother died when he was 3, he interrupted. "Car accident. He was in the back seat. He saw everything." My eyes burned. "I didn't know. Now you do." "No more family cards." "Yes, sir." Silence stretched between us. I could hear him breathing, could imagine him in some dark office, running his empire while worrying about his son. "He hummed your song at bedtime," Marco said quietly. "First time he's done that in years." My throat closed. "Really? Don't make me regret trusting you, Maya." Weeks blurred together. Luca and I developed a routine. Blocks, picture cards, music. He started using more words. "Blue, want snack, Miss Maya." Each word felt like a miracle. I documented everything, sent detailed reports to Marco. He never responded, but I knew he'd read them because Vincent mentioned things. "Boss says Luca ate all his vegetables last night." First time in months, I started seeing Marco around campus, always at a distance. He'd arrive in black SUVs with tinted windows, armed men flanking him. He'd watch from the hallway as I worked with Luca. Our eyes would meet through the glass, and something would pass between us. Something I couldn't name. One afternoon, Luca looked up from his drawing. "Papa sad." My heart stopped. "Your papa is sad." He nodded, scribbling with a red crayon. He drew a stick figure of a big man and a small boy. Between them, a space. So much empty space. "Do you want to make him happy?" I asked. Luca's eyes met mine. "Don't know how," Before I could respond, the door burst open. Not Vincent. Not Dr. Calloway, a woman in a designer suit. Dripping diamonds and contempt. So you're the little teacher everyone's talking about. I stood, positioning myself between her and Luca. I'm sorry, who are you? Vanessa Monroe. Luca's aunt. She looked past me at Luca, her lip curling. Still playing with baby toys, I see, Luca whimpered, covering his ears. Rage flooded through me. You need to leave, now, excuse me. Her eyes flashed. I'm family. You're just the help, I'm his teacher, and you're upsetting him. Get out. She stepped closer, her perfume overwhelming. You think you matter. You're nothing. A placeholder until Marco gets tired of this special education charade and sends the boy somewhere that can actually fix him. There's nothing to fix, I said, my voice shaking with fury. Luca is perfect exactly as he is. You're sleeping with him, aren't you? Vanessa's smile was vicious. That's how you got this job. Marco always did have a weakness for trashy. The slap came from nowhere. My hand connected with her cheek before my brain registered what I'd done. Vanessa stumbled back, shock replacing her smugness. You hit me, she breathed. You actually hit me. Oh God, I just assaulted a Mafia family member. I was dead. Literally dead. Get out, I repeated, my voice barely steady. Before I do it again. Vanessa left, but her parting words haunted me. Marco will hear about this. You're finished. I knelt beside Luca, who was still curled up. Hey, buddy. She's gone. You're safe, bad lady, he whispered. Mean to Miss Maya, I'm okay. I promise, but I wasn't. I just destroyed my career, and possibly my life. That evening, I was packing my classroom when the door opened. Marco filled the doorway, and he didn't look pleased. My office, now, he had an office at the school. Of course he did. It was all dark wood and leather, decorated with expensive art. He closed the door behind us, and suddenly the room felt too small. You struck Vanessa. Yes, no point denying it. She was insulting Luca, calling him broken. Marco poured 2 glasses of amber liquid. Whiskey, probably older than me. He handed me one. Drink. I obeyed. It burned going down, but I welcomed the heat. Vanessa is my late wife's sister, Marco said, swirling his glass. She believes Luca should be institutionalized. She thinks his autism is an embarrassment to the family name. That's horrible. She's also been stealing from me for 2 years. His eyes met mine. I've been waiting for an excuse to cut her off. You just gave me one. I stared at him. What? Vanessa will no longer have access to Luca or the family accounts. Security has already escorted her from the premises. He took a long drink. You protected my son. I protect the people who protect my son. I could have handled it differently, I said. I lost my temper. Good. Marco set down his glass and moved closer. Too close. I could see the flecks of blue in his gray eyes, the small scar above his left eyebrow. Do you know what I do, Maya? My mouth went dry. Yes, then you know I've hurt people. Killed people. Built an empire on violence and fear. He reached out, his fingers brushing my cheek where Vanessa had gotten too close. But I have never felt more proud of someone than when I heard you slapped her for insulting my son. His touch sent electricity through my skin. This was wrong. He was a criminal. My student's father. Completely off limits. So why couldn't I move away? Mr. Dantiel Marco, he said softly. When we're alone, call me Marco. This can't happen, I whispered. Whatever this is, I know, but he didn't move. Neither did I. We stood there, barely breathing, the air between us crackling with something dangerous and inevitable. The door burst open. Vincent stood there, his face urgent. Boss, we have a problem. The Costa's family just hit one of our shipments. The moment shattered. Marco's expression shifted, the vulnerability vanishing behind cold calculation. Where are South Docks? 3 men dead. He glanced at me. Do we need to move the kid? No. Double the security here. No one gets near him. Marco turned back to me, his eyes hard again. Go home, Maya. Lock your doors. Don't go anywhere alone until I say otherwise. What's happening? War, he said simply. The other families think I'm weak because I spend time at my son's school instead of managing territory. They're wrong, but they'll test me anyway. He grabbed his coat. Vincent will drive you home. I have a card. Vincent will drive you. Marco repeated, his voice leaving no room for argument. And from now on, you have a security detail. My head spun. I don't need. Yes, you do. He stopped at the door. You're important to Luca. That makes you a target. Accept the protection or quit. Those are your options. He left before I could respond. Vincent's expression was sympathetic. Come on, Miss Bennett. I'll explain in the car. My apartment had never felt smaller than with Vincent standing in it, checking windows and locks. You'll have to men outside at all times, he explained. Don't be alarmed if you see them. They're here to help. This is insane, I said, sinking onto my worn couch. I'm just a teacher. You're the woman who made the boss's kid talk. Vincent's face softened. You're also the first person besides Marco that Luca trusts. In our world, Miss Bennett, that makes you family. And we protect family. After he left, I sat in the dark, trying to process everything. Somewhere in the city, Marco was doing violent things. Fighting a war. Maybe killing people. And I was falling for him. The realization hit me like a physical blow. I was falling for a Mafia king who'd probably never be able to give me a normal life. Who came with danger and darkness and a world I didn't understand. But when I closed my eyes, I didn't see the criminal. I saw the father who'd called me at night to tell me his son had hummed my lullaby. I saw the man who'd touched my face like I was something precious. I saw someone who, beneath all the violence, was just trying to protect the person he loved most. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello. It's done. Marco's voice was rough. For now, are you okay? The question slipped out before I could stop it. Silence stretched. I thought he'd hung up. Then, why do you care? Because Luca needs you, I said. And maybe I'm starting to understand why. I heard him exhale. I'm covered in blood. Maya, my hands will never be clean. You should run from me. Probably, I agreed. But I'm not very good at doing what I should. A sound that might have been a laugh. Go to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. He hung up. I didn't sleep. I lay awake, thinking about gray eyes and dangerous smiles, and a little boy who was learning to speak because someone finally listened. The next morning, Luca was waiting for me with a drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one small. Me and you, he said proudly. It's beautiful, Luca. I hung it on the wall. Throughout the day, he was more talkative than ever. I like pizza. Do you like pizza, Miss Maya? I love pizza. Papa says you're special. My heart stuttered. He did. Says you see me. Really see me. Luca's eyes, so much like his father's, met mine. He sees you too. Different than other people. Before I could respond, Dr. Calloway appeared at the door, his face ashen. Miss Bennett, there's been an incident. My blood ran cold. What kind of incident? Someone left a package for you. Security intercepted it. He swallowed hard. It contained photos of you. At your apartment. Your car. Walking to work. And a note. What did it say? It said you have 48 hours to resign, or you'll be removed permanently. My legs gave out. I sank into a chair, my vision blurring. Hui the Costas family, Vincent said from the doorway, his expression murderous. They're trying to hurt the boss by targeting what matters to him. I'm not what matters to him. I protested weakly. I'm just the teacher. Vincent's look said I was fooling myself. Boss is on his way. He wants you in the secure wing until this is resolved. What about Luca? Already moved. He's asking for you. That broke through my fear. I stood on shaking legs. Take me to him. The secure wing was underground, reinforced like a bunker. Luca sat in a corner, rocking slightly. When he saw me, he ran over. Miss Maya, scared. I caught him, and for the first time, he let me hold him. His small body trembled against mine. I'm here, buddy. I'm okay. Bad men want to hurt you. They won't. Your papa won't let them. The door slammed open. Marco stormed in, his suit jacket gone, sleeves rolled up. There was blood on his knuckles. His eyes found me holding Luca, and something in his expression cracked. You're safe, he breathed. Vincent got you out. We're okay. Luca pulled away from me and ran to his father. Marco scooped him up, burying his face in his son's hair. It's okay, Piccolo. Papa's here. Don't let bad men hurt Miss Maya, Luca said urgently. She's nice. She helps me talk. I know, son. I know. Marco's eyes met mine over Luca's head. The emotion there was raw, unguarded. I'm going to end this, tonight. Marco, no arguments. He set Luca down gently. Vincent, stay with them. No one gets through that door. Boss, you shouldn't go alone. I'm not. Marco's smile was cold, deadly. I'm bringing everyone. The Costa's family threatened my son's teacher. They're going to learn what that costs. He started to leave, then turned back. In 3 strides, he was in front of me. His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone. When this is over, we're going to talk. About everything, okay? I whispered. Then he kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was claiming, desperate, a promise, and a prayer all at once. I gasped against his mouth, and he swallowed the sound. When he pulled away, we were both breathing hard. Luca was covering his eyes dramatically. Papa kissing Miss Maya. Gross. Despite everything, I laughed. Marco's lips curved into a real smile, the first I'd seen. It transformed his face, made him look younger, less haunted. Be good for Miss Maya, he told Luca. I'll be back soon. Then he was gone, and the bunker door sealed behind him with a heavy clang. The hours that followed were torture. Luca and I played with blocks, read stories, did anything to pass the time. But my mind was elsewhere, imagining Marco in danger. Finally, Luca fell asleep on a small cot in the corner. I sat with my back against the wall, watching him breathe. You really care about him, don't you? Vincent asked quietly. Both of them. Luca is my student. I'm supposed to care, and the boss. I looked at the man who'd become my protector over these weeks. I don't know what Marco and I are. You're his reason, Vincent said simply. First time I've seen him smile since his wife died. First time he's left the compound without being on guard every second. You make him remember he's not just a king. He's a man who kills people, a man who protects his family, Vincent corrected. In our world, those are the same thing. 6 hours later, the door opened. Marco stood there, alive but battered. A cut above his eye, bruises forming on his jaw. But his eyes were clear. It's over, he said. The Costa's family won't threaten us again. What did you do? What I had to. He walked to where Luca slept, pressing a kiss to his son's forehead. Then he looked at me. Come with me. Luca, Vincent will stay with him. I need to talk to you, alone. My heart hammered as I followed him through corridors, upstairs, until we emerged in an office I'd never seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Dawn was breaking, painting everything gold. I killed 3 men tonight, Marco said, standing at the window. The ones who threatened you. I looked them in the eyes, and I pulled the trigger. I felt nothing. I should have been horrified. Instead, I moved closer. Marco, you should run from me. His voice cracked. I'm poison, Maya. Everything I touch turns dark. My wife died because of my choices. Luca lost his mother because I made enemies who wanted to hurt me. And now you're in danger because I couldn't stay away. I'm not running, I said firmly. Then you're a fool, he said, but there was no heat in it. I reached up, turning his face toward mine. Maybe I am. But I see you, Marco Dante, just like I see Luca. I see the man who calls me at night to tell me about his son's progress. Who built a secure wing to keep students safe. Who's trying so hard to be a good father despite everything. I don't know how to be anything, but what I am. I'm not asking you to change. I'm asking you to let me in. His hand covered mine on his face. If I let you in, I won't be able to let you go. Good, I whispered. Because I don't want you to. This kiss was different from the first. Slower, deeper, full of everything we couldn't say. His hands tangled in my hair, and I pressed closer, feeling his heart thunder against mine. When we finally broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. I can't give you a normal life. I don't want normal. I want this. You, Luca, all of it. You'll be in danger. Always. People will try to use you to get to me, then teach me to protect myself. That surprised him. What? You have a whole organization. Teach me. Train me. I won't be a weakness, Marco. I'll be a strength. A slow smile spread across his face. You're really something. Maya Bennett. Is that a yes? That's an I'm keeping you forever, so you better be sure. 3 months later, my life had changed in ways I never imagined. I still taught Luca every morning. He was speaking in full sentences now, laughing, even making friends with other students. But I also trained 3 afternoons a week. Self-defense with Vincent. Firearms with Marco's head of security. Situational awareness. Escape tactics. I learned the business too. Not the violent parts, but the legitimate fronts. Real estate, shipping, investments. Marco was slowly transitioning, making the empire cleaner for Luca's future. You're getting good, Marco said, watching me spar with Vincent. She's better than good, Vincent grunted, nursing a bruised rib. She's dangerous, I grinned, wiping sweat from my forehead. Marco pulled me close, not caring that I was sweaty. Dinner tonight, just us. What about Luca? Vincent's taking him to a movie. We have 3 hours, his eyes darkened. I plan to use them wisely. Heat flooded through me. We'd been taking things slow, building trust. But the tension between us had been growing, ready to ignite. That evening, Marco cooked for me in his penthouse. Pasta carbonara, simple but perfect. We ate by candlelight, talking about everything and nothing. Luca asked me today if you were going to be his new mama, Marco said casually. I nearly choked on my wine. What did you tell him? Marco's eyes met mine, serious and intense. I told him that was up to you. But that I hoped so. My heart stopped. Marco, I love you, Maya. The words were simple, but they hit me like a tidal wave. I've loved you since you slapped Vanessa for insulting my son. Maybe before that. You walked into our lives and made us whole again. Tears burned my eyes. I love you too. Both of you. He stood, pulling me up with him. Then marry me. Be Luca's mother. Be my wife. Be mine in every way that matters. Yes, I breathed. Yes, yes, yes. He kissed me, and this time we didn't stop. He carried me to his bedroom, and we spent the night learning each other. Every touch was reverent, claiming. When I woke in his arms as dawn broke, I felt complete. A year later, I stood in a garden full of flowers, wearing a simple white dress. Luca held our rings, wearing a tiny suit and the biggest smile. Marco waited at the altar, looking at me like I was his entire world. Dearly beloved, the priest began. Luca tugged Marco's sleeve. Papa, can I talk now? Not yet, buddy, Marco whispered. Soon, but I practiced. Luca insisted, loud enough for everyone to hear. Laughter rippled through the guests. I caught Marco's eye, and he shrugged, smiling. Okay, Luca, what do you want to say? Luca turned to face everyone, speaking clearly. Miss Maya taught me to talk. She was patient when I was scared. She saw me when I was invisible. His small voice didn't waver. She made Papa smile again. She made our house feel like home. So I'm really happy she's gonna be my mama. There wasn't a dry eye in the garden. I knelt down, and Luca ran into my arms. I'm happy too, buddy. So happy. The ceremony continued. When Marco slipped the ring on my finger, he whispered, You saved us both. You saved me first, I whispered back. You showed me what love looks like when it's fierce and real and worth fighting for. Our kiss was interrupted by Luca shouting, Ooh, still gross. That night, after Luca was asleep and the guests had gone home, Marco and I stood on the balcony of our new home, overlooking the city. Any regrets? He asked, arms around me. Not a single one, even though you married into the Mafia. I turned in his arms, touching his face. I married a man who'd burn the world for his son. Who learned to be gentle for me. Who's building something better. I'm still dangerous, Maya. 23 I know. But so am I now, I smiled. We're dangerous together, he laughed, the sound free and young. When did my sweet teacher become so bloodthirsty? When someone threatened my family. The word felt right. Family. Marco kissed my forehead. I'm transitioning the last of the illegal operations. 5 years, maybe less, and will be completely legitimate. For Luca, for you. For the future, I know you will. And if old enemies come back, then we handle it, together. He held me tighter. I don't deserve you. You deserve everything good, Marco Dante. You just forgot for a while. We stood there until the stars came out, planning our future. A future where Luca would grow up safe and loved. Where Marco could leave behind the violence. Where I could teach and protect and love without fear. It wouldn't be easy. Marco's past would always shadow us. But we were strong enough to face it. The months that followed proved it. There were challenges. Old rivals testing boundaries. Family members who questioned my place. A few close calls that reminded us danger was always lurking. But Luca thrived. His vocabulary expanded daily. He made friends, joined clubs, even gave a presentation at school about how his parents met. "My papa is really strong," Luca told his class. "And my mama is really brave. She wasn't scared of him even when everyone else was." On our first anniversary, Marco surprised me with something unexpected. "A school. It's yours," he said, handing me the keys to a beautiful building on the north side. "For special needs students. Fully funded. You can hire the best teachers, create the programs you've always talked about." I stared at the building, then at him. "Marco, this is too much. It's not enough. You gave up your career to be with us. This way, you can still change lives." The Maya Bennett Academy opened 6 months later. We served 50 students the first year, 100 the second. Every child got the individualized attention they deserved. Every family found support and hope. Luca visited often, helping younger kids, showing them that being different was beautiful. One afternoon, I found Marco in the hallway, watching Luca read to a 5-year-old girl who reminded me of him at that age. "Thank you," Marco said quietly. "For what?" "For seeing what everyone else missed. For loving us when we were unlovable. For building this," he gestured at the school, "the children, the life we'd created. For giving me a reason to be better." I took his hand. "You were always worthy of love, Marco. You just needed someone to show you." And Luca. He was always perfect. He just needed someone patient enough to listen. We stood together, watching our son help another child find their voice. 5 years after that first day in the classroom, we gathered for Luca's 12th birthday. The house was full of kids from school, friends he'd made, teachers who loved him. Vincent was there, now head of our legitimate security company. Dr. Calloway, retired but still a friend. Even some of Marco's old crew, now working in legal businesses. Luca stood on a chair to make a speech, because of course he did. "When I was little, I couldn't talk," he said confidently. "I was scared all the time. I thought I was broken." Marco's hand tightened on mine. "Then Miss Maya came. She didn't try to fix me because she knew I wasn't broken. She just helped me find my words." He looked at us. "Now I have lots of words. Sometimes Papa says too many words." Laughter filled the room. "But I use them to help other kids like me. To show them they're not alone. To tell them being different is okay." He raised his glass of juice. "To Mama Maya, who taught me to speak. To Papa, who protects us. And to everyone who believed I had something to say." We toasted. Later, after the guests left and Luca was asleep, Marco and I sat in the garden. "He's going to change the world," I said. "He already has." "He changed ours." Marco pulled me close. "Do you ever miss your old life? Before all this?" I thought about my tiny apartment, my broken car, my loneliness. "Not for a second, even with the danger. The complications? Especially with those," I said. "Because they came with you. With Luca, with a love I never thought I'd find. I never thought I'd find peace," Marco admitted. "But here, with you, I finally have." We sat under the stars, to people who'd found each other in the most unlikely way. A special education teacher and a Mafia king, brought together by a little boy who just needed someone to listen. It wasn't the life I'd planned. It was better. Because the best love stories aren't about perfection. They're about two broken people becoming whole together. About finding family in unexpected places. About learning that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is open your heart. And I'd do it all again. Every scary moment, every challenge, every risk. Because at the end of it all, I had everything that mattered. A son who'd found his voice. A husband who'd found his heart. And a love worth fighting for. The Mafia King's autistic son spoke to me first. But in the end, we all learned to speak the language that mattered most. The language of family, acceptance, and unconditional love. That's the thing about love. It finds you in classrooms and boardrooms, in danger and in peace. It doesn't care about your past or your fears. It just asks you to be brave enough to say yes. And when I said yes to Marco and Luca, I said yes to the greatest adventure of my life.